Can we talk about radio more for a second?
It's like whatever you want.
No, I'm saying
enjoy yourselves.
Well, because
yes,
we're sharing this show, but I also like, I kind of wanted to like ask you because like I did Sirius for like a year,
right.
but I never did like proper terrestrial broadcasts.
Right.
Like you did it for 20 years plus, then you did 10 years plus of satellite. Now you're doing 15 years of satellite.
I've
2001, right? Was satellite?
I did 14. When did I get fired?
Either way, you've done a lot of all of it.
I did about. I'm tring to think. About 14 years already.
So you followed
14 years of satellite. Sorry.
Yeah, but your career followed like where people get their shit, pretty much, right?
Right.
So like, what is it going in the right direction? Were the old days better? Is this new thing that we're doing here? Like, what is
What a great question. No, it sucks.
The old days were better?
The old days were way better because now everyone and their mother has a podcast. There's 700,000 podcasts right now, and most of them suck, but most people don't know that most of them suck yet.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get traction. I'm finding it hard to get traction.
It is.
We're doing good, but it doesn't compare to the old days when we first went on satellite or had a regular radio show.
Do you find like the constrictions of doing morning radio for 20? Like, all right, I got to be up at 4 and in the studio every day, and I have 4 hours to fill, and not a minute more and a minute less, and versus. You get to carry around your gear in a backpack, and you do exactly. Is the freedom? Is it worth it? Assuming your plan succeeds.
Another great question. So you might not want to hear this, Carl. But I've had offers to go back to regular radio. I don't want to do it.
Let's fucking do it.
Do you think is there room for regular radio in the world right now, or do people just not give a shit?
No, because they get they have those FCC regulations, and they're really scared of advertisers and special interest groups, and which is the dumbest thing because that they just sold WABC here in New York. This goes to your point for $12 million.
That doesn't seem like very much.
No, back in the day,
low.
because
that's Matt's garage.
This restaurant, you could trade this restaurant for
this regular radio is falling apart.
Yeah.
Something like ABC, I don't even know the market value back in the day, but it had to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I love the freedom of podcasting because I come and go and do it when I'm feeling it. What's the stress of doing morning radio every day? It was brutal. I know people work way harder than me, but it wasn't fun, man. You could enjoy that day's show for maybe an hour or two, and then by the time you get home,
how do I fill this?
Yeah, by the time you get home and and get a few things done right around dinner time, you start stressing like I got to do it again tomorrow, and then after that, and the day after that. That's what. I never got to really sit back and truly enjoy it because the stress of trying to do it every day was just tough.
What about like moments like witness? If you can remember like a couple examples from either satellite or whatever or terrestrial where you like witnessed moments of like comic genius, like I was exposed through the Opie and Anthony show to like Patrice, Bill Burr,
right?
Like how many fucking people,
right?
Like Theo Vaughn and Vic and like even before that, like Jesus, how many of these like guys came through your show?
Well, I mean, Bill Burr before he blew up. The days when like a Bill Burr came in or Patrice O Neal, you would sit there going, this is so obviously a special day that people will be listening to years to come. To this day, they go back and listen to the Patrice O Neal appearances and the Bill Burr appearances.
I listened to his special Elephant in the Room.
I went to the taping
more than once a year.
Everyone says that.
It is one of the most insane hours of stand-up comedy ever recorded.
Yeah.
That the bit about I'm not going to redo his bits, but like the bit about the corporation, how your wife. I mean, that is the writing of that bit is incredible.
Yeah, I was at that tape and I was backstage in between shows, and he was working hard, and it was serious, Patrice, because Patrice always kind of it was he was such a natural at it, but that he didn't take it. Sometimes it felt like he didn't take it seriously. But for that taping, he was on and serious could be, and he was intense backstage, and he had two giant suits because he
the leather suits.
Yeah, he taped 2 shows that night, and then you put it together for the special. And I remember after the first taping, I went backstage. He was just drenched in sweat. He was working so hard.
Well, I can't imagine standing on stage in a leather suit. That was a poor decision.
He really
logistically bad.
He really wanted that to work.
Yeah,
really wanted that to work, and it did, obviously. So,
no, the special was extraordinary. Yeah. And actually,
a lot of times with him, it was always just effortless, and it was like, "Are you just fooling around? Did you just come up with this on stage at that moment?"
Because he had a real social observational quality that went very far beyond comedy. I mean, in stuff like race and class and inequality and shit like that.
I never really got to break it down with him how he prepared for his stand-up, but to this day, I really feel like that he really winged it a lot on stage, but I don't know for sure.
Well, there's bits bits that are improvisation. Like I have another one of his specials. I think it's called Mr. P.
Yeah.
And I think it was just recorded in some club. The audio is terrible.
Well, they put that out after
he died, right? Yeah. And he gets into the fight with the chicken lady. Like he gets into a fight with someone in the crowd, but God damn, does he spin it into gold? I mean, it's incredible.
I went to one of his last shows at Caroline's, or the last time I saw him, and God, man, we were backstage in the green room. Just he was where he was supposed to be, just happy, chilling, just fucking with the staff and the people I brought down, just holding court. And I go, I'm gonna watch some of your set, and he was surprised, you know. He's like, you've seen all this stuff a million times. I'm like, man, Patrice, every time I see you, it's something different. I'm gonna stay for a little while. And I remember he had a little smile on his face, and he never really showed emotion. He was always a tough guy, but you knew when he liked you. You know what I mean? But you had to kind of look in his eyes. So I remember I was watching his set from the side, and then I was like, I saw the first 20 or 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, right on, man. You know, and I remember him sitting there, just had the room in his hands, and he was just like where he was supposed to be. And I got up, and I was like, yeah, man, look, you know, I see Patrice just so happy and where and doing his craft. And I walked out, and just before I walked out of Carolina, I took one last look, turned around and looked at him, and he's just getting a huge laugh, and he's just soaking in the laughter. And I turned around and left Carolina.
That was the last time you saw him? Was it 6 years now, right? 2013?
Well, until his old roommate decided that he needed to open the casket in front of everybody.
Fuck, did he? Really?
Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah. At like the funeral? Holy shit.
I never heard this.
Don't people teach people not to do that kind of shit? That's crazy. That's like a fucking Leslie Nielsen movie. That made me fucking laugh. I think that's actually a Leslie Nielsen.
That was fucking funny. I'm still in yesterday.
I'll give you some inside baseball. So, they asked me to be one of the pallbearers. I was just obviously flattered that they would think of me in that way. So before the service that we had here in New York, there was a bunch of us with the casket in front of the church before we were going to let everybody in. And it was, I'm trying to remember everybody, but I think it was me, Kevin Hart, Dane Cook, Chris Rock. It's a who's who. Bob Kelly. I think Voss was there. Maybe Jim. I think Jimmy was there. I'm probably missing somebody. And all of a sudden we're sitting around.
Probably Anthony.
No,
Anthony.
Anthony said no to being a pallbearer.
Okay.
True story. You could ask him about that.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
But I was also not a pallbearer.
Kevin Hart, odd choice to be a pallbearer. If I have to say, it seems like he may have to stiff arm it.
He should be in the front.
That side of the
it's a little lopsided.
Dragging down the stairs. I'm like, Jesus, they're going to be a big star right around the corner.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so we're in front of the church, the casket's there, and everyone's just cracking jokes because that's what comedians do, you know, and everyone's just trying to make everyone laugh, even in that situation.
Yeah.
We're about to open the doors, it's going to get crazy, you know? And all of a sudden, Will, his old roommate, goes, fuck it, and just walks over and just opens up the casket in front of everybody, and you could hear a pin drop. Everyone just stopped talking. You know what it takes to get comedians to shut the fuck up? And everyone just stops talking, and then we're like, oh my God, why did he do that? And then we all just slowly took a turn walking over and taking a look. Yeah.
That's creepy.
But it was dead silence.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long it lasted, maybe a couple minutes, but...
Well, it's better than in the church, I suppose. But yeah, that's.
And then one other thing. So after the service, we're in the hallway, I guess, as everyone's leaving the church, and we brought the casket out there. And is this too personal and inside?
No.
Okay. And then I'll never forget Chris Rock in tears comes walking down the hall. I don't think he officially was a pallbearer, but he comes walking down the hall, and he looks us all in the eyes. Everyone's just bawling, in front of the casket. And he looked at all of us, pointed at every single one of us, and just said, "Take care of yourselves. Take care of you." Like really dramatic and over the top.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's what you learn from someone's death. How to not take.
How to have that not happen to me?
Well, and how to not take your life so seriously, and make sure you live your life.
Yeah. I mean, people
like do the things maybe you weren't putting off and stuff like that.
That's just like my father. Like my father's best friend, his whole life since they were 10 is, for a guy who's 66, is really a healthy guy, and they both played basketball and soccer in college, and they play golf and blah blah blah. And he's as healthy as a 65-year-old guy can be, but just in the middle of the night, one day wakes up, I have a headache, goes to the hospital, stroke, and he's alive, but like he's different. You know what I mean? Like. Old Bob is not there anymore, and this is Bob now. Yeah. And, like, holy shit, that was just like, went to bed, wake up. Like, and so I'm talking to my father. And
how bad's the stroke?
Physically, he's okay, but he's got huge holes in his memory, which is a shame. And so, this is like, they think eventually, with a lot of rehab. But, I'm talking to my father, and he's going, oh, my God. I need to get some living in now. Right. This is a Carl Ruiz attitude.
Yeah, like that. My old man was, professional cyclist.
Actually, professional cyclist.
Yes, he was part of Café de Colombia. He used to call them the goats. They were only in the climbing stages, right?
Really?
So he rode
really
with Greg
LeMond.
Lorraine Fignon, with System U and all these guys. He was Café de Colombia, and he was in Tour de France, Giro d'Italia, like all this stuff.
He did Tour de France?
Yes.
Your dad?
Wow.
Yes, my father. But just the mountain stages. Like, he would get burned, like, through the whole tour.
Right.
But he would move the peloton and burn them on the hills. Right. That's what Colombians do.
Right.
They're billy goats. They go up the mountains. And never drank, never smoked, never did anything. And then one day, I was living in California, my mother calls me and says, something's wrong with your father. My father owned a tire shop. Said, the tire shop's not making any money. I'm like, Mom, what does that even mean? Stop, go to fucking Zumba and figure out what's wrong with that. So I call my brother, cardiothoracic surgeon. I'm like, George, something's wrong with Dad. Oh, we'll figure it out. I'm at a conference talking about dead people, wherever the fuck he tells me. So I said, okay. So I fly back to New Jersey, and I go to my dad's tire shop. And 2 minutes talking to him, I'm like, wow, something is really wrong with my father.
Well, what did he say that made you think that right off the bat?
He was talking in, like, phrases, like jokes and stuff, but he wouldn't finish a sentence, and then he would just, like, drift off and then look at me and then call me George, and even though his whole life he wanted me to be George.
He was very aware that you were not George.
Yeah, he was acutely aware that I was not my brother. Right? And I'm like, something's wrong here. So I called my brother and said, George, something's really wrong with Dad. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to figure it out. So I called back to California. I was doing the Food Network. I said, listen, guys, I'm going to take a couple days and figure out what's going on with my father. 3 days later, me staying at the tire shop, I figure out my dad has Alzheimer's. And his 20-plus year employees figured it out before anyone. And we're making my father pay them 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, shit.
Motherfuckers.
Real life.
What's crazy?
Real life.
What's crazy?
And your dad probably took care of those guys.
Yeah,
I would assume.
20 years.
Yeah. Which also leads to your live everyday life.
I live as hard as I can every day.
Yeah, and I'm building this building in LA and starting this business, and I'm nervous. I've never run a business that has employees and health insurance and paperwork and the things that real businesses have.
Can I stop you because we're sharing this podcast so I can help my audience understand this? So Matt Farrer from The Smoking Tire. you're building a garage so people can
yeah.
park their fancy fucking sports cars.
Right. So I've been
And
an
motorcycles
automotive
that has
journalist for
clearance,
10 years.
FYI.
Yeah, I'm an automotive journalist for 10 years, and my plan to not rely on the internet to pay my salary forever is I'm building a large luxury parking garage in West LA for people to store their collector and sports cars. Like
That's
in that
awesome.
area, there's like a lot of money, but there isn't a lot of space. It's very dense. It's like New York City in some ways, and so you find people with very expensive homes or condos or whatever, and there just isn't parking, and so I'm trying to fix that.
Nice.
But the point was, I've hired this parking consultant to help me talk, and all he's done is run parking valets for 20 years, all he's ever done. And all of our meetings are like, so here's how your employees are going to try to fuck you, and here's how your customers are going to try and fuck you, here's how the city's going to try and fuck you, here's how, and he's like, if you don't pay attention to this stuff constantly, and this is like, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter if you think your employees or your friends, your customers, you're like, if something comes down to where they can save money or get something, like, they're going to fucking do it. And I'm like, I'm going through this like learning process, and I'm just getting so depressed. I'm like, I want to start a business that serves this community, and this dude's just telling me all the ways that everyone's going to try to fuck me. It's really depressing. Yeah,
It's real life. Like I have 60 employees, and like now I know, you know, at 44 years old, you know, when that, you know, the waitress comes up and smiles at me, she's not smiling at me. She's smiling at me as much as a shark smiles at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not real.
Right.
And if you're like, oh, Carl, how do you not get in, like, when people come in, look at all these beautiful women. I'm like, that's a social security number to me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to pay her. If she smiles at me after 9 o'clock, she's on double time. That's a lot of money. It's just funny how when you get into, you know, when back in the day, you used to do brick and mortar businesses, and then you became a TV star, right? Yeah. Because of your brick and mortar. Now it's reversed.
Now it's the other way around.
Matt is a TV star, and now he's a brick and mortar guy. Like,
Right.
It's just. And going into something, it's so
because
crazy.
the TV
rules
dream
are
isn't real.
No, TV's gone.
TV's gone.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And you know, YouTube is not going in the direction I want it to go.
No.
Podcasting is great. I love doing it. I'm going to keep doing it, but I can't pay my mortgage just doing podcasting.
Yeah, right.
And so there needs to be some level of stability. So that's the brick and mortar thing. But to your point, going from fictionalizing it and then making it real,
it's crazy.
Is sort of like I know this dude Richard Rawlings. You know, you may have heard of a show called Fast and Loud on Discovery Channel.
Yeah, I've heard.
So he's got a business called Gas Monkey Garage down in Texas. So that was not a real garage. That's a fake garage made up just for that show. He had the name Gas Monkey Garage. It's a cool sounding name. And he had stuff with Gas Monkey Garage like written on it. Right. But like it wasn't a garage that did it like
really?
Yeah, they built the entire shop for his show. He was a personality. And they were like, well, we like this guy's energy. We like his fucking yeehaw. We like his chains and his pointy beard and his Texasness. Right. And we like the name Gas Monkey. That's cool. And we can create a business around this dude's personality. It's completely fake.
It's pretty smart though.
He's so fucking rich. Yeah. He's got Gas Monkey tequila on the side of an Indy car at the Indy 500. He's rolling around in $1,000 bills.
That's
right
when
now.
You know you've made it. When you got your own tequila.
He is so rich now.
Yeah.
So he's not a mechanic.
No. He employed.
Wait, he's not even a mechanic?
Richard?
Yeah.
I think he has some basic mechanical ability, but no, he's a car dealer.
Oh my god,
he's a car dealer. That. Yeah, he's a car dealer.
So there's no. I can't go to Gas Monkey Garage.
I don't think so. I
assume they have a Gas Monkey Garage by now.
Well, it is a real place. It's not entirely. It's not CGI.
Yeah.
But like I don't think they just take customers off the street. I think everything they do is for the show.
That really blew my mind.
other people do have real shops, like that Wayne Carini guy, the Chasing Classic Cars dude with the mustache. Guy. Yeah, and he's great. He's a sweet guy. I see him at all the auctions, and he's really capitalized. His shop, which was real before the show, it's called F40 Motorsports
in Connecticut.
Right? Yeah, it's a real legit shop. I happened to see an ad in the magazine the other day. It's now Wayne Carini's F40 Motorsports, which is a smart thing to do with his fucking face on it. Because I was talking to Haggerty magazine because I want to do an ad for my business, and he goes, the ad sales guy goes, listen, I'm going to tell you a secret. Put your face on the ad. And I go, put my face on the ad? It's a car store. He goes, every ad that's got Wayne Carini or Jay Leno's face on it, they sell. The ads that just show whatever, nothing. It's they need the person attached to it. And he's like, you're really lucky because you're kind of enough of a somebody that putting your actual face on it will.
It's like
get
food.
people.
If I put crab cake on the menu, people will fucking.